Hey guys, and welcome to week 9 of creating a mat Pilates habit. Today's exercises, we're going to take 4, and they're going to be pretty advanced. They're at the end of the classical series, and I want to take you the whole way through the classical series. So make sure before getting into this that you're warmed up. Perhaps leave these for the end of your workout of the day, or at least get your body really warm and stretched out before getting into these exercises, because we're going to be doing things like the rocking, control balance, the push-up, and we'll do a little variation on the seal as well. So I believe that this is probably going to be my last week of creating mat Pilates habit, at least for now. I may leave it and come back to it and continue. There's a lot of different things that I wanted to do, like string exercises together in all different ways, but we are getting into March, and March is March Madness for Pilates enthusiasts, where we practice one classical mat Pilates exercise every single day. So I don't know if I'll be coming on here and just live streaming that one exercise, or if I'm going to be utilizing YouTube Shorts. I'm not quite sure what I want to do with that. But I was thinking of creating, I have liked coming on here live every single Monday, and I was thinking of creating another series to spring into the week with the springboard, and perhaps doing just a couple of exercises on the springboard once a week where I hop on here. Springboard is definitely my niche. It's what I'm known for in the Pilates world, and springboard content is definitely the most highly requested and the things that are most watched. So I thought that that might be the most useful to come on here live and be doing springboard more often, so you'd see springboard every single week in addition to my videos. So let me know what you think about that. If anyone is heavily protesting me stepping away from creating a mat Pilates habit, or does not want to see the springboard, or definitely does want to see the springboard, let me know in the comments, and we will go from there. Okay, so we're going to get started today. So I'm definitely post-workout and pretty sweaty, and I've given myself a couple minutes to cool down, which I shouldn't have. So we're going to come in right here, and we're going to start out with the seal, or sometimes it's called the seal pup. So the knees are going to come out wide, the arms are going to come underneath the legs and grab on around the ankles, and we're going to balance back on the sits bones. So this is a rolling exercise, like rolling like a ball, like open leg rocker. So we want to come back here, roll back to our shoulder blades and come forward. So we want to think inhale as we roll back, exhale as we roll up, and balance at the top. So we're going to take 3 claps with the feet. 1, 2, 3, roll back, 1, 2, 3. Lift up, 1, 2, 3, roll back, 1, 2, 3. We stay C-curve through the spine, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. All right, so if you want to do something kind of crazy and fun with it, right here, as we lift up, we're going to extend the legs out, bend back and catch, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Open, really get those hip flexors working. Open, 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3. Lift. Let's take one more. Lift up, open, and fold those legs back in. Now we're going to flip over onto the stomach for the rocking. We're going to think here similar breath patterns to the swan dive, where we'll exhale as we're coming down, inhale as we lift up. So we're going to grab around the ankles, we're going to lift up, the body, roll forward, and we just rock back and forth. Into a rest pose. You can tell by my breathing and not talking, the breath is so important. Rolling that air out. Inhale, lift up and fully exhale, roll the air out. Whew. A lot of these exercises are either you can physically do them or you can't. Don't get discouraged. There's lots of things that you can do to build up to that. But know that towards the end of the class series, That's kind of how it goes. Even in the beginning, there's like, you can either do the roll up or you can't. So you may have to modify. I'm just a warm-up exercise in the classical series. Okay, we're going next into control balance, which, as you can guess from the title, is all about control and balance. And when we have exercises like that, they tend to be challenging. So you need to be able to do inversions, you need to be able to bring the weight into your shoulder blades, you need to be comfortable with a rollover and jackknife, and corkscrew is helpful here as well. So, control balance, we're going to float the legs up, reach them out towards 45 degrees as one single unit. We're going to roll them over, bring down towards the ground. One hand lifts up at a time. And so you want your toes to be able to touch ideally. We're going to hold on to one foot as the other lifts up and presses away. Fold back down and switch. So what happens is some can hold their leg up really, really vertical. My balance is not super great today in this exercise. So the more you lift up, the more your body's going to run a roll out of it. We'll go and roll back down through, lengthen out. So it's an advancement of the rollover where you really need to have your feet, if not touching the ground, to be able to fold over that way, at least very close. Okay, we're going next up into the push-up. I wish I could say it's getting easier from here. This one feels much easier for me because I just love push-ups. We're going to come standing at the edge of the mat, but this is a Pilates push-up, folks. So one thing to keep in mind is it's going to be a tricep push-up. Those elbows are going to graze past the rib cage and extend back here. Okay, we're not coming out like this, not like this. So keep that in mind right there. Okay, give me just a second. All right, now. Thank you. Thanks, honey. Sorry. I've got a kiddo home with a cold today. And I'm live streaming, and I'm going to have to start over. So this is being helpful and giving me something through the door. So right here, we're going to come standing towards the edge of our mat. We're going to lift our arms up to the sky. And one thing we want to think about is not letting the hips rock back and forth. It's really hard to stabilize the body right here. We're going to be utilizing things like on the reformer, we're going to feel an elephant stretch. You're going to feel this throughout this exercise, really stretching the back of your legs. If you're tight through your hamstrings or your low back, you might need to bend your knees in order to do this if you can't roll down and touch the floor, right? So we're going to go ahead and lift up towards the sky. And then bring the arms down, tuck the chin to chest, roll down to the spine, and bring your hands down to the mat. So ideally, in order to start this, you would want your hands to be able to come down flat. If that's not a possibility, you're going to bend through the legs where you need to. Okay, so from here, we're going to walk out. And we're going to think about stepping out straight, 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 and not letting our body wiggle all over the place. Straight out, huge hamstring stretch, straight out, straight out. Now your shoulders are over top of your wrist. Push up, press all the way back up. Send those hips back up to the sky, tight position. And then we're going to press back. So we're lifting one hand at a time. Same thing, we're thinking about walking out in a straight line and rolling up one vertebra at a time and lifting up towards the sky. So you may see variations or combinations of this exercise just in the fitness workout world where, you know, people walk out and it's kind of like this and they walk back. This is very, very ideally very tight and controlled. Straight out. Lift those hips and walk back. And come up to the sky. You can take single leg variations as well. So to do so, I'm going to tap my right toe back, tuck the chin to chest, roll down towards the mat, leg lifts, walk out. And then as you press back, that leg lifts to the sky, lower back down, and walk back with control. As you can tell, it gets much harder to stabilize when you lift the leg. All right, so I'm going to tap the left leg back. And fold down, walk out here. Push up. Lift back. And lower the leg, walk the hands back. And lift up to the sky. So, you can also load those push-ups more, so you can take more reps as you walk out. Lift the hips, and walk back. Sometimes it's fun to start out 5 push-ups, go down to 3 push-ups, go down to 2 push-ups, go down to 1 push-up. Send those hips to the sky. So, this is not just about upper body, whole body's involved in this Pilates push-up. Send hips up. And walk back. I got tired, got a little wiggle there on my way back. Whew, it's hard to talk through those. So, when it comes to these exercises, as we get harder, there's kind of less modifications. It's like work on these exercises in order to get to this point. I've got videos out there for push-up helps, how to use the magic circle to help you with push-ups, proper push-up form, proper plank form, all of that will come in handy there. And then over time, that's just a matter of practice of rolling down to the body, holding straight and controlled as you walk out and walk back in. It's really just a matter of practice, so start bending the legs if you have to at the beginning and at the end when you come back in, right? Because the hands have to touch the mat, so if that's impossible for them to touch the mat with your legs straight, then you're gonna have to bend to get down there. You can also just practice, those are like walking out push-ups. You can also just practice push-ups on the mat. But the Pilates push-up is really beneficial, all those things strung together there. That, you're gonna do less repetitions, but you have a break from the push-up and using the core and the entire body and lengthening up and coming back down into it. I just love the Pilates push-up. I believe that's been my main focus of working that exercise, has made my upper body and my push-ups strong and helped me to just fall in love with push-ups. So stay with that. Let me know if you have any questions about it. But yeah, it's challenging. Even if you're like, yeah, I can crank out 10, 20 push-ups, whatever, it's pretty challenging, all of that strung together. As far as, the seal goes, if that's not working for you, go back to rolling like a ball and perhaps try a little leg extension there. I like to extend the legs sometimes to challenge those rolling exercises. So you've already got the balance with the core and then you have to stabilize the core and reach the legs long. So I like to play with that and add in a few things there. The rocking, if you're like, there is no way, that is not happening for me. If you can't reach back and touch your feet, you can put a round loop band on and hold on to the band and practice lifting up. I don't have one nearby to show you, but you can have a band on that you're holding onto the band. Or you can just simply practice coming right here, lifting the body up, and then coming back down, right? If you're not in a place where you've got that height to be able to rock back and forth, you can just practice here. Really think about peeling the thighs off of the mat and lifting up. Some people can do these with their knees rather tight. You notice that I take mine wide, and that's because I've had a knee injury where I broke my patella and it's reattached to the inside of my knee, so it's a lot of pressure for me, and my legs now in the rocking have to go much wider. So again, you'll just practice here, inhaling as you lift up, and exhale coming down. So it's a big stretch back here as well, that you're really opening up through the chest and rolling back down. So even if you don't care about coming into that rocking at all, it's a great way to roll the shoulders back and open up through the chest. And then when you come out of that, come into a nice rest pose. got a lot of extensions, you'll want to come back here and rest. Control balance, really those exercises that I talked about before. But if you're having trouble like getting your feet down close towards the mat, what you could focus on is taking the legs out. We'll roll over. You could focus on trying to tap them down to the mat. Little lift, tap, little lift, tap. And then you could slowly move the arms out right here and do the same thing. And then roll the body down. One thing that I love about control balance is it takes a lot of control to roll out of the roll over, but when your arms are up here, instead of pressing down and assisting on the mat, I love just coming out of the control balance, right? So we're rolled over, and arms are still up, and then rolling down one vertebrae at a time. From here is such a challenge, and I love that at the end. You can also do variations where you're holding a stick and things here, where you can really play with that a little bit. So the control balance is not something that I do on a super regular basis, but I should, because you can go see videos of when I was doing it very regularly, and it was much better than where it's at right now. So it's one of those things that if you practice very regularly, it will get easier and stay easier. And if it's one of those things that it's like it's challenging and you leave it and only do it occasionally, it's kind of going to remain challenging. So practice where you're at with these exercises every day or 5 days this week or whatever you can manage. Or if you're like, that is way out of the ballpark for me, can't even attempt to do those, then just go back to a previous week and continue practicing. Make that habit on the mat pretty regular so that you can add these things in. But the classical series does progress to more challenging towards the end. So do the best that you can. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm so glad for all those that have been here throughout this series. It might not be the end forever, but it's definitely going to be a break from here, most likely throughout the month of March. And I'll probably switch to doing YouTube shorts to cover each of these exercises. So if you're following along for March Madness, we do one exercise every single day. So instead of me giving you these like 5 exercises for you to work on during the week, it'll just be one every single day. And it pretty much follows the exercises that I've put in here besides the beginner exercises that I snuck into the middle. So you might find these videos helpful as you're practicing that March Madness, but stick with me. There's definitely going to be more content, and I have videos every Tuesday, and we're probably going to be doing a little springboard live once a week, maybe starting in March, maybe a little bit later. So I do like hopping on here live. I really appreciate those that have joined me and been following along. So I'd like to continue something along those lines. So let me know if there's anything that you just really want to see. We'd definitely like to hear from you. So I hope that you've found these 9 weeks, 8 weeks, 9, is this week 9, of building up a mat Pilates habit. I hope that it's been really helpful for you and you felt good, positive differences in your body. Thanks so much, you guys, and I will see you very soon.